So why stay? You said you rap. That's your undiluted self.
I used to. It was just a hobby though. I wasn't a rapper.
But you did it for your husband.
I did it for my husband's speech, yes.
So please, our audience would like to hear you rap. Give it to us.
21 questions, 50.
Don't be quick to judge a book by its cover. I lived a life back then, but today I live another. Never let the world look down on me. As a single mother, I knew what I could be. People are around trying to look down on me, but my life is in Christ. Nobody can judge me. Ain't no stopping where I'm going. Ain't no stopping where I'm at. A righteous woman falls, but she bounces right back.
You should be vibing.
Hi guys, my name is Anna and we are live at Zion Train Entertainment, where we are known for spreading smiles all around the world. You know. And I'm here with my co-host James.
Yeah, my name is James Akir. I'm a celebrity stylist and image consultant.
And we are here with the elegant, the versatile YC.
Hi guys.
I was permitting to call you YC.
That's fine.
So, firstly, I want to know the reason behind the name YC. Why not Tola? Why not T? Why not any other name? Why YC?
Well, that name was actually given to me. That name was given to me by my pastor, funny enough.
Wow.
And it was when the internet started, when we came into the age of the internet. And I used to be a hairdresser. So I'd been a hairdresser from the age of 14. So all I knew how to do was do hair. And I didn't really think there was a reason why I needed to have email and things like that, because I'm doing hair with my hands. That's it. My clients call me, book an appointment. I say come do their hair, they pay and they go. But then everyone, there was a time that people started saying, oh, I need your email address. I'm thinking, how am I going to set up an email address? I don't even know how to use the internet. So one day I said to my pastor that can he create an email address for me? So he said, okay. So he created an email address. The email address was Wisetola at blah blah blah. And so every time people ask me what's your email address, I say Wisetola at blah blah blah. And so people just started calling me Wisetola. So the name kind of like stuck. So yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Very, very interesting. And I can reckon with that because you do a lot of things that make you wise.
Yeah, I think Wisetola is amazing, and we know that before the internet there were people, like before Facebook, before Instagram, there were people behind the scene. These were people who were like collecting with the collaborators, with the creatives. So Wisetola, tell us, like what were the first move? Like why did you go into entertainment? What were the first moves? Like who were the people you met with instantly before internet? Like the creatives coming into the UK, like who were the first set of people, the musicians, the creatives, like what got you into the mentors then?
Well, I mean, I didn't start off in the actual entertainment industry. I actually started off on radio. And how I got into radio was when I wrote my first book. I wrote my first book and I launched it in 2007. It's a parenting book. And then I had a radio show. I was doing 2 radio shows at the time. One was on parenting and one was young people focused. Because I'm very passionate about young people.
Wow.
So I used to have talk shows on 2 radio stations. But every time I used to go to Nigeria and visit, I have a friend that would always take me out when I was in Nigeria. So he'll take me to places like Industry Night and things like that. And then every time he's introducing me, he'll say, oh, this is Wisetola, she's a radio presenter. This is Wisetola, she's a radio personality. And then there'll be loads of artists there and they'll be giving me their CDs, and I'll be saying to them, I don't play music on my show, it's a talk show, I do talk shows, but they'll still give me their CDs anyway. So I would always come back to London with lots of CDs. I have a whole case of CDs, and that. So I remember when I took a break from the radio station when I wanted to set up Women for Africa, and so when they told me to come back, I thought to myself, I've got so many CDs. On that particular radio station, there was no one playing Afrobeats. So I said to them, I'm going to come back, but I'm going to come back and, have a music show. And I want to play Afrobeats. And they said, fine. So when I came back, I had loads of CDs. So I was able to play a lot of artist music that was not getting played in the UK, and a lot of artists that people didn't know, because I was meeting a lot of artists that people didn't really know who they were, but they were very good. And so I wanted to give them an opportunity to play their music. And at least if their music's getting played in the UK, then that would be great. So that's how I now got into playing music on the radio. So on my radio station, I was interviewing so many different artists. So and then I was always doing interviews at concerts as well. So I remember interviewing back in the days, interviewing David O when he did his first performance at the O2, Indigo O2, but it was Basket Mouth show. But David O was the performer, so I interviewed him backstage for Cocoa Bar, that kind of thing. And I remember the first time Olamide came to the UK, my friend Adasi was the one that brought him to the UK and brought him straight from the airport. I was on air at the time, so he brought him straight to the radio station, and I just interviewed him then, as well at the same time. So so we've interviewed a lot of people.
Wow, interesting. I think that there's so much about you, like, we need to involve around, like, why do they call you the godmother of Afrobeat? Where did you get that image from? The godmother of Afrobeat is like a profile, like the godmother of Afrobeat. We know you're like, we're like associated with Tiwa Savage, you're associated with the big fame and everything. So what's the godmother of Afrobeat?
I think, like, when you look at, like somebody that has a child and then they pick godparents for the child. So it's people that they want, that they know, that they can trust to look after that child if anything happens to them, and even if nothing happens to them, but just to play a role in that child's life as well, be as important. So I think when it comes to the entertainment, like I always say, with the big names, people already know them, they're already supported, people already push their music, people already promote them and that kind of thing. But then you have the upcoming artists that are very good, very talented, but they're not getting as much exposure, as much push and that kind of thing. So that's where I kind of like come in to help to push, the talented artists that are out there, but nobody's really pushing their music as much, So sometimes you're able to push somebody's music, and then you're able to allow them to get seen. And I always say, it takes nothing to post somebody else's music or to share their music, and and I've seen the effects of just doing that, and how it has propelled somebody from just posting on Instagram to now being given a record deal, and to now being on stage with the likes of Burna Boy and that kind of thing. So
well, very interesting. I think, like, with the project ongoing with Women of Africa, the last time you invited me for the last event I came on, I was privileged to be with Stormzy's mom and also Skepta's mom, which was a good project you're working with on Women of Africa. Like, we had to talk about how these successful women were able to bring up very great creatives to be successful in the UK. Can you please tell us a little bit about Women of Africa? What motivated you to bring such a platform, to bring black women raising up successful black kids?
The whole idea behind it.
Well, Women of Africa it's kind of like birthed out, like I said, I used to be a hairdresser back in the days. So it's kind of like birthed from that. I was doing hair, self-employed, doing hair at home. So, I'm doing people's hair and I'm hearing their stories. So women will just be sat there hours to do their hair. So we're talking and I'm hearing some stories, and some of their stories were just so inspiring. Some were motivating, and I'm thinking, if I'm inspired by this, other people can be inspired by this. So I just felt that I needed to create something where people could hear ordinary women's stories who are doing extraordinary things and that kind of thing. So I remember the name came to me one night, Women for Africa. And I just tapped my husband. I said, that's it, that's the name, Women for Africa. And my husband's really passionate about Africa. So we just came up with, we're going to do an awards, and it's going to be about the ordinary woman doing extraordinary things. So we create a platform where the public nominate women that we don't know, but they're in their community, that they've heard of, that are doing stuff. And then we have independent panel that picks the finalists, independent judges that pick the winners. And so for us, it's really about celebrating those women. But one category that I've always said that has to be in there you know, because I'm passionate about parenting, is the outstanding mother, is the mother category. So that's why you'll come and you know, you came in year 10 where we were awarding people like Skepta's mum, Stormzy's mum, because, you know, these are women that have raised exceptional children, creatives, like you said, and there's a lot of women out there that are raising children that are exceptional, that are doing very well, you know, that people do not know about. And you know, it takes a lot of effort and that to raise children as well, especially in a country like the UK with so much going on and everything. So that's why that platform came about. So we've been doing it for 10 years now, and and that's what we do.
Well done, YC.
Thank you.
Yeah, based on the conversation like we've had in the past, like I know you're creating like a harp. Like I would like you to give us a little brief on those things we're gonna be seeing in 2025, like some of your ideas and what you think we're gonna like innovate, like, you know, the collaborations we should be having, the sponsors we're going to be looking for, because we're on the live podcast on Zion Train. This is what Zion Train is all about, like putting up together, like putting ideas together, you know. Like, can you please tell us more about the app, like what we're going to be doing in 2025?
So the app was, the helpline was first launched in 2018. It's called the Listeners 101.
The Listener 101.
And so it started off as a helpline, and I dedicated one of my mobile phones to it, because I have a couple of mobile phones, busy. So you have a few phones. So I said I didn't want something where it would not be able to be maintained. So if I didn't donate one of my mobile phones, because I pay my line rental, it's always going to be there. So it was for young people to be able to call up if they needed someone to talk to. But what we used to find is that they preferred to talk in the DMs. So they'll talk in our Instagram DMs and have conversations rather than picking up the phone to call. The people that were calling on the app was actually the parents.
Wow.
Parents that were having problems with their children. Now we call in the phone and we'll be telling them it's actually for young people, but they were like, so you're going to create one for the parents then? I said, I don't know about that, but it came about during the time there was a lot of knife crime going on in the UK, and it was really disturbing me. But I just felt that, you know, sometimes young people want to talk, you know, young people that have been experienced something, young people that might have lost a friend to knife crime, and it's really bothering them, or even a young person that was actually involved and just wants to tell a parent that, look, your child didn't suffer, or that kind of thing, and you know, and stuff that they cannot say to friends or the police and that kind of thing. But when we found that people were just sending messages in the DM, I now contacted my cousin's husband and his partner. They make apps, so I explained to them what I wanted: an app that young people can download, and they remain anonymous, so we don't get their number, we don't get their name. They can use any username, but it's just so that they have someone to talk to. So they created the app for me, and that launched in 2020. We launched that in 2020, and then so people download the app and would talk, and then I have like listeners that are either teachers, therapists, you know, that kind of thing, that will just be on the line, so you can talk to a listener 24 hours a day. So the way it works is, you know, they talk to a listener, and even if, let's say, I'm talking to a young person and I need to go into a meeting, I'll just message the other listeners and say, are you available to take over this conversation? And they can just jump on and continue the same conversation, so that young person is not left waiting hours until I finish my meeting. They can talk, and you know, that kind of thing, so they can talk. But we find that they like to talk a lot at night. Young people like to talk late at night,
because it's,
you know, when we want to be sleeping.
So
that's how the app came about. So at the moment the app is being updated, so we've taken it off the App Store, it's been updated, and it will be back on the App Store by 2025.
Thank you.
With some new features and that kind
That's
of
a
thing.
very brilliant idea. But I have a question for you,
Okay.
So you were talking about parenting, your line in the entertainment world, what you do, like basically you're versatile, I must say, and you're elegant. So how do you juggle between these things you do with your family, with your emotions, with your life, personal life? Basically, is a lot. It's a lot. I'm not even halfway there. I'm already going through a lot of emotions, blah blah blah. So how do you handle that?
My family are involved in basically everything I do. So Women for Africa, it's me and my husband. We're the founders. my children are all involved, so they have their roles even in Women for Africa. The Listeners 101, that's me. My son is a listener. My eldest son, he's in his 30s. He's a listener. So, you know, my husband does a lot of promo. So I involve my family, my children in everything that I do. So we kind of like are involved. Everyone has their role. Everyone knows what it is that we're doing. And then we spend time together with what we're doing. So everyone enjoys what they're doing. But I always have times where I shut down and say, right, this is break time, no work, I'm not sending no emails, no nothing, this is me time. And I make sure as a family we have that. And then even if I'm doing a lot of stuff and I find that it gets like, so it might be a lot or I get overwhelmed, I just give myself a day off. I say, right, I'm taking a day off, I'm not responding to anything, I'm just going to chill. So if I'm going to binge watch Netflix or whatever, I take the day off and then I come back to it the next day. So I always say to people, give yourself a day off. Give yourself a day off so that you can just relax, recoup, and just do what you want. If you want to go shopping, but give yourself a day off, you know, do stuff, because the work will always be there. And then you come back even refreshed with more ideas, and then you think, right, this is what I'm going to do, you know, that kind of thing. And then I'm the type of person, I can take naps during the day. I mean, I work for myself, I work from home, so I can take naps during the day. If I'm tired, I'm like, I'm going to have a nap.
Nice.
Yeah, there's been so much about you, YT. We can't even cover you up, like, because you're so wild, you're so versatile. Like, there was a question I was going to ask about the era of Damilola Taylor. Like, what did you, what were your plans? Like, what you were around in the UK when Damilola Taylor's issue was on there. What happened? Like, what were the things that came around you? What were the plans? What were the action plans you think we could walk around to stop things like knife crimes, you know, around London?
For me, that's why the Listeners 101 kind of like came about, because I always say to people, if you want to know why young people are doing what they do, ask them.
Yeah.
And if you ask them, they will tell you, you know, they will actually tell you, because a lot of times as grown-ups we try to figure out and we try to say, oh, they're doing this maybe because this at home and maybe because things are not going well and this. Sometimes you actually need to ask the young person. The young person will actually tell you why they're doing what they do. You know, I remember I started off writing a book called Conversations with My Teenage Girls. So I have a group of girls, young teenagers, where I ask them different things. So some of the headings in the book hasn't come out yet. Some of the headings in the book is, you know, why I lie. You know, so I ask them questions. Okay, so why do you lie to your parents? And they will tell you. They will say, look, because if I tell them the truth, they're not going to want to hear it. So I tell that I lie, and then that's what they want to hear. You know, so if you ask young people why they do what they do, they will actually tell you. You know, you ask a young person, why did you go and stab that boy or that girl? They will tell you. They'll tell you how they were feeling at the time. They will tell you what triggered them, you know, like, and that kind of thing. And then that's the only way that you can help them. I was, you know, I mean, hearing the news of Damilola Taylor, it was horrendous. What happened to him? It was like, you know, why? We're asking we have had his dad attend one of the Women for Africa, you know, that we've done, you know, and present an award for us, you know. But it was horrendous. And I think, you know, like, things like that, you know, because he would have had friends that would have been grieving when they lost him. So those are the type of people that the Listeners 101 was created for, so that they can come and, you know, like, and talk about how they feel, how it's made them feel. And, you know, because it's, you know, it's not just a loss to his family, it's a loss to his friends, it's a loss to his school. You know, like, a lot of people get affected when one person dies, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah,
I'm so happy for you. Like, in our circle now, we have Stormzy's mom, which we know Stormzy is doing quite a lot of things out there, like supporting the ethnic minorities, and now you're a close associate to Stormzy's mom, and as well I've met Stormzy's mom quite a few times. We with Skepta's mom as well. I think you're doing quite a good thing, like, you know, trying to like get people out there to listen to you, and also to like support the black ethnic minority, support the black women in the UK. What are your plans for 2025? Like, what do you think is gonna come up with all these platforms you're trying to create, and how we're gonna support the ethnic minorities in the UK?
Well, the plans are to just make everything bigger and better, you know, more accessible with a lot of stuff, and profiling a lot more, you know, like a lot more women in regards to Women for Africa, letting people know that these are women doing amazing things, you know, like, so that people can, because one of the things that Women for Africa does, it allows people, to meet other women,
Yeah.
and then collaborations are formed. So you'll find that people are collaborating on different projects, and that as a result of meeting and hearing about one woman that is doing something when she's sharing her story. And, like, it's a lot with even the other platforms, with the Listeners 101 and that kind of thing. People will say, oh, how can they be a listener, because they want to get involved. But all the information is on the website. The website is the listeners101.org. All the information is there. And we're always looking for organizations that actually do stuff, because one thing about the Listeners is we listen. We don't advise and we don't counsel, because that's not what we are. So what we do, and we don't judge. So what we do is we refer. So if they need help, there are organizations that we look into that are doing stuff, that are helping these young people, then we refer them to those organizations if that's what they want. Otherwise, we're there to listen to them, so they can tell us whatever they want, we listen.
Yeah.
And we're not robots, so we're not bots, we're actual human beings.
Yeah. So with all these things in line, there's no job or business or idea or whatever that doesn't have its own overwhelming situations. So what are the challenges, what are the discouragements you face that, oh, I'm not doing this again, you know what? Let me end it. What are they?
I don't get that, because I don't see challenges as challenges. I just see them as, right, I need to
Stepping
figure
stone.
this out. Let me figure this out. Let me figure out how to do this better. Let me figure out how to make this work. So I don't see it as a challenge, because I make sure that, like I said, I make sure it's something that can be sustained, something that can carry on. And then I look at other things. So my thing is coming up with the best ideas, the best suggestions, what's going to work, what's going to make it, really take off and that kind of thing. So I think if it's something like Women for Africa, I would say, if I'm to say there's any challenge there, the challenge would probably be sponsorship. The more money you have, the more grander you can make your thing. Because for us, it's really about making it, top notch, prestige and that kind of thing. So if you have more money, you can obviously make it even more extravagant. That's my thing. But other than that, we do what we do, and there's a formula in place for all of the things that we do, and we go with that formula. And that's what makes it work.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's very nice for you to have all this and see a challenge as a stepping stone, or not see let a challenge weigh you down. Many young people, including me, I see a challenge and I'm just like, oh, I can't take this. Stuff. But for hearing from someone like you, my take home today will be, I'm going to take a challenge, I have to face it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel about the new leader? The new leader of the party, Kemi. What do you feel about the Nigerian? I don't know. How would I classify her as
To be honest, I can't really go, because one thing I don't do is I don't go with public opinion. So I can't judge a person just because everyone in the public is saying she's this, she's that. I have to actually sit down with a person for myself and then form an opinion. So I can't say, oh, because people are saying, oh, she's doing this, or she's tearing down Nigeria, or she's doing it. I would have to sit down with her and know her reasons and that kind of thing, and then I'd be able to say, oh, maybe she is, or maybe she isn't.
Not, yeah.
You'd have to get to know a person, because somebody comes to me now, they might turn around and say, oh, that James, he's a celebrity stylist, but you can't even talk to him, he's not even accessible. Yeah, he's proud because he's dressed this. And then I'm now going to form that opinion.
Yeah.
Then that might make me think, well, I can't even approach James.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. So I would want to try and reach out to James myself and see how James is. Because for a long time, a lot of people used to say things like, oh, Davido is arrogant and this. But I've interviewed Davido 3 times and I haven't found that. And that's what I've said. I haven't found that. So I can't really say that's how he is, because I haven't experienced that for myself. So I would have to have a sit down with.
Yeah, I think this is a podcast, and we think those are the kind of like minds that these are people who think to have to work with, because she's out there representing, I should say, black women, she's giving the voice and talking about the country, what we're going through back then in Nigeria and everything. But at the long run, we think women from Africa, it's a huge platform. These are the kind of people we need to to jump on projects like this, like to educate ethnic minorities about the challenges of black women in the UK.
So why still we've been talking too much about Women for Africa, parenting, family, personal life. Let's go back to Afrobeats.
Okay.
As per Godmother of Afrobeats. So what's your advice to artists, the upcoming artists trying to like get into the like industry, get into the limelight? What's your advice for them?
Well, for me, it's really be passionate about what you do. Because when you're passionate about what you do, that's going to be your driver. And I always tell young people, you know, like, there's a saying that I have. I say, if you believe it, you can achieve it. And I believe that you should have where you want to see yourself. You know, I always used to say to my children when they were young, my boys especially when they used to play football, I used to say, there's only one David Beckham, there's only one Wayne Rooney, so there's only going to be one you. So be good at what you do as you. It's not that, oh, I want to be David Beckham or I want to be like David Beckham. Be like you. And as good as you can be. Then people can say, oh, then they want to be like you as well. So with artists, you know, young artists, I always say, make sure you're passionate about what you do. Because some artists, it's because they see, oh, Wizkid is out there, Davido is out there, Burna Boy, Lamde, and they're all good. So then they want to be like that as well. But is that really your passion? Because I've seen artists start and then all of a sudden, because it hasn't happened for them, they've left it. You don't do that with a passion. With a passion, you stick with it till the end. And your passion can keep evolving, it can keep evolving into other things, but it's still the same, it's still along the same lines. You know, I've seen artists that start off as artists and they'll say, oh, they really want, but then that depth is not there, the longevity is not there, and then after a while they're no longer doing music and you think, oh, so what happened? It's as though it wasn't a passion. So make sure you are actually passionate about that. And it's not that you want to do it because you see somebody else doing it. Make sure you're passionate about it and give it your all. Give it your all and keep doing it. When it happens, it happens. Nobody knows when it's going to happen. Nobody knows when their first hit is going to be a hit. Everyone writes a good song and says, oh, this is it. This is the song. That might not actually be the song. It might be the next one. So keep sticking with it. Keep doing it. And when it happens, it actually happens.
Wow. So for me, my take home from that would be, do not copy. Don't copy. Do you? So why stay? What's this interesting fact about you that your fans don't, because there's always behind the scene. So what's this interesting part of you that people don't know?
I would say some people know because I've kind of like given a glimpse of it. But before Afrobeats, let me just say I was a die-hard hip hop fan, loved my hip hop, and I used to rap as well. So for my husband's 50th, instead of doing a speech for him, I actually did a rap. I actually rapped his speech, which kind of shocked him and shocked a lot of people there. So yes, I got a beat. There was a beat that I actually loved that was one of Olamide's songs. So I got him to send me the beat so I could rap on that, and I rapped on it. And I did my husband's speech for it.
Wait, sorry. You're not running away from it. You're going to drop a rap for us. So why stay? You said you rap. That's your own dedicated self.
I used to. It was just a hobby though. I wasn't a rapper.
But you did it for your husband.
I did it for my husband's speech, yes.
So please, our audience would like to hear you rap. Give it to us.
So why see? I just got 21 questions from you from 50 Cent. Like, let's just listen to that now. Give us why still. 21 questions, 50.
Don't be quick to judge a book by its cover. I lived a life back then, but today I live another. Never let the world look down on me. As a single mother, I knew what I could be. People are around trying to look down on me, but my life is in Christ. Nobody can judge me. Ain't no stopping where I'm going. Ain't no stopping where I'm at. A righteous woman falls, but she bounces right back.
Raise the bar.
So you see,
that was good. Why still? You're a lot.
No.
You are a lot in a woman's body.
Godmother for anything.
Anything. Let's change the name. Not Afrobeat alone. So why still? If there's a final message for our audience, a thought, a fact, whatever you want to tell them, what would it be?
Well, there's a quote that I live by, and it's, if nobody gives you a platform, create one. And I go by that.
What?
So yes, that's it. If nobody gives you a platform, create one. You know, there's no point sitting down and saying, oh, nobody wants to do this for me, or nobody wants to help me with this, nobody wants to create that platform. I remember, you know, I have loads of other projects, by the way, but I haven't talked about all of them. For Solid Woman, when I created the Solid Woman magazine, so when I used to go places to speak, I had the magazine cover I put myself on. So I said, you know, people say, oh, you know, I'd love to be on the cover of Vogue, I'd love to be on the cover of this. If you're not going to be on the cover of that, at least create a magazine and put yourself on the cover. That way you're on the cover of a magazine. So that's why I say, if nobody gives you a platform, create one.
Create one.
So there's always opportunities, always things that you can do to help yourself. That's it.
Thank you very much, YST. For me, what I'm taking home from you is, do not copy. Do you? Don't copy.
Absolutely.
It has been a lot of inspirational talks and thoughts on this podcast, and I'm happy that I had to work with you, YST. I must say, you're a woman of wisdom, and we want to thank you for coming to this show despite your busy schedule and all. And on behalf, you can't go home like that, trust us. On behalf of Zion Trend Entertainment, we want to present this award of excellence to YC for being an inspirational woman. We love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
happy.
you can reach YC on...
I'm on social media at Wisetola or at the Godmother of Afrobeats or at Women for Africa. I'm on social media, on all social media. So that's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and yeah.
And from Zion Train Entertainment, we want to say we love you. Good night.